Good day, everyone. Introducing myself, I am Muhammad as ZIKRI bin ASRI, matrix number 313887. So today, I will be presenting our topic about product mix with constraints. First of all, product mix refers to the combination of products that a company chooses to produce and sell. However, businesses cannot produce unlimited quantities because they operate with limited resources. These limitations, known as constraints, may include machine hours, labor hours, raw materials, budget, and also storage capacity. Therefore, managers must decide how to allocate these scarce resources efficiently to achieve the highest possible profit. An optimal product mix helps companies to improve productivity, reduce waste, and also maximizing the profitability despite having these limitations. Moving on to analysis and findings part. So the first article discusses how a medium-sized manufacturing company improves its product costing system by implementing time-driven activity-based costing, or well known as TDABC. So previously, the company calculated profitability mainly based on direct material costs only, which did not accurately reflect the resources consumed during production. Since the company manufactured more than 8,000 different products, each product required different amounts of machine time. Machine hours are a limited production resource, so using only material costs will result in inaccurate product cost information. The company therefore adopted a new costing system that will allocate manufacturing costs based on the actual machine hours used by each product. This provides a more realistic measurement of production costs and also supports better product mix decisions. The finding shows that several products previously believed to be profitable were actually generating low profits or even losses after machine hour costs were included. Some products consume a large amount of machine capacity while actually contributing relatively little profit only. As a result, management will revise the product prices, discontinue certain unprofitable products, introduce a minimum order value, and also invest in automation technology to reduce production time. Overall, the study demonstrates that machine hour constraints significantly influence product mix decisions. By prioritizing products with higher profit per machine hour, then the company will improve its profitability and also utilizing its production capacity more efficiently.
Next, I will discuss the finding and analysis of labor hour constraint from the third article. First, the finding of the article show that labor capacity is one of the key constraints affecting product mix decisions. The article found that different products require different amount of labor time during the production process. Because of this, the availability of labor hours directly affect how many products a company can produce. The study also revealed that the company was not fully utilizing its labor resources, which leads to inefficiency in the production process and increased operational costs. Moving on to the analysis, the findings suggest that labor hour constraints play an important role in determining the optimal product mix. Since labor is a limited resource, companies need to allocate labor hours carefully to ensure that production activities are carried out efficiently. If labor resources are not utilized properly, productivity may decrease and the company may not be able to achieve its maximum profit potential. In addition, labor resources are essential because workers are directly involved in carrying out production activity. Therefore, any shortage or inefficient use of labor hours can affect production output and overall business performance. This shows that labor capacity should not be overlooked when making product mix decisions. Overall, the article highlights the importance of managing labor hours effectively by allocating labor resources efficiently and ensuring that available labor capacity is fully utilized. Company can improve productivity, reduce unnecessary costs, and achieve better profitability through more effective product mix decision.
Good morning everyone, my name is NURUL BINTI AIMAN. My matric number is 313002. Today I would like to present the article that the linear programming is tool to design mix of cement plant raw materials by Vesna Draganik, Zelko Kosanovic and Melden Stonajovic, published in 2022. The article discussed the application of linear programming in determining the optimal mix of raw materials used in cement production. The study related to product mix decision, especially when a company faces limitation the availability of resources. In this case, the company faces limited resources raw material to produce a quality cement. The main objective of this study was to identify the best combination of raw materials that could minimize production costs while still meeting the required quality standard of cement. In the cement industry, product quality is very important because the final products must meet specific chemical and technical requirements. Therefore, the companies cannot simply choose the cheapest raw materials without considering their impact on quality product. The research focused on several important raw materials used in cement production, such as limestone, clay, silica sand, and iron ore. In addition, the quantity available in the plant are limited. This creates a challenge for management because they must decide how much of each material should be used in the production process. On the other hand, production target may not achieve when insufficient of raw materials. To solve this issue, the researchers developed a linear programming model. The objective function of a model was to minimize the total raw material cost. At the same time, several constraints were included in this model. The first constraint was the availability of raw materials, meaning that the amount of each materials used could not access the quality available in the plant. By using linear programming, the researchers were able to calculate the optimal quantity of each raw materials needed in the production process. This approach provides an accuracy way to make decisions instead of relying on experience, estimate, or try and error methods. Based on the finding, the linear programming model successfully identified the most cost-effective combination of raw materials. This demonstrates that linear programming can help companies make a better decision when resources are limited.
Good morning everyone. Next, I will present Article 4 titled Application of Linear Programming for Optimal Use of Raw Materials in Bakery by MT Akpan and IA, published in 2016 in the International Journal of Mathematics and Statistics Invention. This article focuses on product risk optimization when a company faces limited raw materials and budget constraints. The study used Goreta Bakery Limited as a case study and examined the production of 3 products which are small loaves, big loaves, and giant loaves. The bakery had limited supplies of important raw materials such as flour, sugar, yeast, salt, wheat gluten, and soybean oil. Before implementing the model, managers mainly relied on experience and guesswork when making production decisions. However, rising raw material price and inflation made it more difficult to allocate resources efficiently. Therefore, the researchers applied by the simplex linear programming model using Tora software to identify the most profitable production plan. The findings show that the product with the highest profit per unit is not always the best option and decisions. Although giant loaves generated the highest profit per loaf, they consumed too many raw materials. The optimal solution was to produce 962 small loaves and 38 big loaves while stopping the production of giant loaves. This production mix generated the highest daily profit of 20,385 naira. Conclusion: the study demonstrates that linear programming helps managers make better product mix decisions, utilize limited resources efficiently, and maximize overall profit. Thank you. Now I will pass to the next speaker. Good morning, everyone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is HIDAYATUL AMNI BINTI MUHAMAD with matrix number 314149. So today I will explain about the product mix using the theory of constraint TOC. So after I reading an article from Lynn Harris 2009, I found two things, which is the first one is the method, and the second one is how to calculate the TOC. So there have two methods how to define which product have to be prioritized. So the first one is margin heuristic, which is this is the traditional method. So the second one is TOC, which is theory of constraint, and this one is the derived calculation from the margin heuristic. So for the first one is margin heuristic, which is this is a traditional method to define which product have to be prioritized to produce. So margin heuristic will prioritize product based on the highest net profit margin without considering the resource limitation, such as the direct material, direct labor hours, and the machine hours. So the second one is TOC, which is theory of constraint. So this is a derived method from the margin heuristic method. TOC is different with the margin heuristic method, which is TOC is prioritizing the product based on the throughput per unit of binding constraint. So for this one, they will calculate the profit and divide with resource constraint, so it will be more accurate than the first method. Blackstone 2001 also strongly endorsed this methodology. She agreed that is for three things, which is the first one is maximizing the company profit, and the second one is product mix decision, and the third one is the salesperson commission. Next, how to calculate the TOC. So the first one, we have to identify the system constraint, whether it is direct material, direct labor hours, or even machine hours. And the second one is exploit the constraint by ranking the product from the highest to the lowest throughput to constrain the ratio. So after we calculate the throughput to constraint ratio, we have to list out, which is the first ranking is for the highest throughput to constraint ratio and followed by the others. Now we move to the second part, which is analysis. So the TOC formula only perfect if the product can be sold in decimal places. So TOC formula is not suitable for integer product. Then Leonard 1993 also said that traditional TOC fail if has many constraints at the same time. But even there is only one constraint, TOC formula also cannot be used. TOC also naturally favors smaller product rather than larger product, even though the larger product give more total profit. Last but not least, the best way to define which product have to be prioritized to produce is by violates both theory and choose the product that having the lowest margin and TOC ratio.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. My name is MUHAMAD AFANDI, matrix number 313880. So for today, I will be presenting based on my article what I have found for the findings, analysis, recommendations, and for the conclusion. So for the first one, which is for the analysis part, the article is about a Malaysian SME company called ABC Berhad, which is involved in the drinking water industry production. Basically, the company is facing some problems in terms of inefficient use of resources and poor production planning. They focus on two main products, which are 105,000 milliliter and 500 milliliter bottled water. In this case, the company has limited resources such as machine capacity, water supply, and production time. And these are considered as the main constraints. So to solve this issue, the researcher used a linear programming model, and they also used QM for Windows software to find the best production plan. They also did something called sensitivity analysis to see how changes in resources can affect the result. For the next one is I'm going to present for the findings from the article. So based on from what I understood, the main issue is that the company is not using their resources efficiently. Because of that, their production mix is not really optimized. So this leads to lower efficiency and lower performance in production. The article also shows that profit can actually be improved if they use the linear programming approach. Another important point is that the machine capacity and production time are the most critical constraint in this case. So overall, when the company uses a better planning method, they can achieve higher efficiency. It also shows that using an optimization compare model helps manager make better decision to just using experience or try and error. So in short, SMEs can benefit a lot from having structured production planning.
Moving on to the recommendation part, based on the overall findings from the 6 articles, I propose 5 keys or recommendations to improve product mix decisions making under constraints. First, companies should implement real-time costing system such as TDABC that has been highlighted in the first article. This will allow managers to accurately measure resource consumption, especially machine hours, and make more informed product decisions. Second, businesses should prioritize products based on consumed resources rather than only focusing on profit per unit. Since resources such as machine hours, labor hours, and raw materials are limited, companies should choose products that generate higher returns per unit of scarce resource. Third, the organizations should apply optimization tools for decision making, such as linear programming and the theory of constraints or TOC. These methods will help determine the best product mix when multiple resource limitations exist. Fourth, companies should review their product mix regularly because market demand, production costs, and resource availability are constantly changing. Regular review ensures that the production plan remains efficient and profitable. Finally, businesses should invest in technology and process improvement, such as automation and digital systems, to increase efficiency, reduce production time, and improve overall resource utilization. Overall, these 5 recommendations will help companies make more accurate, efficient, and profitable product mix decisions while operating under resource constraints. Thank you.
Next, I will present the recommendation based on the findings from Article 1, 2, and 5. Based on the findings, the first recommendation is that companies should improve the management of their limited resources, especially machine hour and labor hour. Article 1 shows that some products consume a large amount of machine capacity while contributing relatively low profit. Similarly, Article 2 highlights that labor hours directly affect production capacity and product mix decision. Therefore, management should regularly monitor the utilizations of both machine and labor resource to ensure they are being used efficiently and not wasted on low-performing products. The second recommendation is for companies to adopt more effective management accounting and optimization techniques, tools such as time-driven activity-based costing, linear programming, and the theory of constraint can help managers understand how resources are consumed and identify the most profitable product mix. By using this technique, companies can make more accurate decisions regarding production planning, cost allocation, and resource utilization. In addition, companies should continuously evaluate the performance of their product. Products that consume excessive machine hour or labor hour but generate low return should be reviewed carefully. Management may improve the production process, adjusting pricing strategy, redesign the product, or reduce production of less profitable items. This allows resources to be redirected to products that provide greater value and profitability. Furthermore, companies should focus on maximizing overall capacity utilization rather than concentrating only on products with the highest profit margin. As discussed in Article 5, products with the highest margin do not always generate the highest total profit. In some situations, a balanced combination of products can make a better use of available resources and reduce idle capacity. This can help companies increase overall profitability while maintaining efficient operations. Finally, companies should invest in employee training and continuous improvement programs to enhance productivity and operational efficiency. Skilled employees are better able to utilize available resources effectively and support the achievement of production targets. In conclusion, by improving resources management, adopting operate optimization techniques, regularly reviewing product performance, and maximizing capacity utilization, company can make a better product mix decision, improve productivity, reduce inefficiency, and achieve higher profitability.
Based on the Article 3 and 4, several important recommendations can be determined regarding products made decision under raw materials and budget constraints. Firstly, companies should place greater emphasis on the efficient management of raw materials because they are among the most critical resources in the production process. Both studies highlight that limited raw materials can significantly affect production capacity and profitability. Secondly, companies should adopt analytical tools such as linear programming to support decision making. The findings show that traditional decision making approach based solely on managerial aspiration or institution may not always lead to the most profitable outcome. Instead, management should assess the contribution of each product in relation to the resource consumed. This allows companies to prioritize products that provide the higher return from limited resource and improve overall profitability. Another important recommendation is for companies to regularly review and update their production plans. Market demand, raw materials price, supply availability, and economic conditions can change over time. Continuous monitoring can help companies respond effectively to changing business environment and maintain operational efficiency. Study mainly focus on quantitative factors such as cost, resource availability, and production constraints. In conclusion, the finding of Article 3 and 4 demonstrate the efficient resource allocation and the application of linear programming can significantly improve product mix decision. Companies can achieve better resource utilization, lower production costs, higher profitability, and greater long-term sustainability by combining analytical techniques with strategic management consideration.
Based on ZIKRI's recommendation, I agree that the company should revise their product pricing, introduce a minimum order value, and invest in automation technology. This action can help the company use their limited machine hour more efficiently and improve profitability. This recommendation is important because the company produces more than 8,000 different products. As a result, it can be difficult to identify which products are truly profitable. Since machine hours are limited, management should focus on their products that generate higher returns while using fewer resources. The minimum order value is also a useful strategy because it ensures that every customer order generates a reasonable amount of revenue. This also can help to reduce low profit orders that consume valuable machine capacity. As an additional recommendation from me, the company can charge their higher price for products that require more machine hour, especially during peak production periods. The company should also focus their automation investment on production activities that consume the most time and cost. This will help improve efficiency, reduce operating costs, and provide a better return on investment. For the SYARAH's recommendation, suggests that management should regularly monitor labor usage, adopt linear programming to support product mix decisions, and reduce workforce idle time. I agree with this recommendation because labor is an important resource in the production process. By monitoring labor usage and reducing idle time, the company can improve efficiency and make better use of their workforce. The use of the linear programming can also help management make more accurate product mix decisions based on available resources. However, I believe that this recommendation can be improved further. Simply monitoring labor hours is a reactive approach because labor availability can change unexpectedly. For example, workers may be absent, leave the company, or have different skills levels. This situation can affect production schedule and make it difficult to achieve the planned product mix. As a result, the company can improve workforce flexibility, reduce production disruptions, and make better use of their labor resources. In the long term, this strategy can increase productivity, improve operational efficiency, and support more effective product mix decisions. Thank you for hearing. Now I will pass to the next person.
So my recommendation based on Article 1 and 2 is monitor machine and labor hours in real time, which is companies should stop guessing their production costs and estimate the cost based on material. And they must to use automated system to track the machine and labor hours in real time so that they can see the true cost of production and identify the bottlenecks. Next, based on Article 3, a company should not make production only based on their own experience, but they must to calculate the best production mix based on the actual materials and cash available. Lastly, based on Article 4, a company should reallocate purchasing budget by reducing or stop spending money on large for exclusive product that use too much raw material, and the saved money should be moved to produce smaller products, so that we can use resources more efficiently and bring overall return.
Next is the recommendations based on all articles in our group. So overall, companies should apply linear programming based on my opinion when making product mix decisions specifically, because it helps improve profit and efficiency. They should also prioritize products based on limited resources like machine usage, labor hours, and materials. Another important point is that companies should monitor machine and labor hours in real time so they can make faster and more accurate decisions. They should also use optimization tools like Excel solver or QM software instead of relying only on manual decision or experience, which are not that accurate at all. Besides that, companies should reduce trial and error methods because it is not efficient for production planning. They should also improve production efficiency by allocating resources properly. It is also important to regularly review the product mix because demand and resources can change over time. Lastly, companies should invest in automations and process improvement to reduce production limitation. So, in conclusion, this topic basically shows that product mix decisions are highly affected by limited resources. Things like machine capacity, labor, and raw materials are the key factors in production planning. Linear programming help companies to optimize these decisions in a more systematic way. We also learn that by using this method, we also be able to learn different methods like theory of constraints and TDABC helps improve our understanding of bottlenecks and costing accuracy. Raw materials and labor constraints also directly affect productivity and cost efficiency. So overall, using mathematical models and optimization tools give better results compared to traditional decision-making methods. And finally, all these approaches help every company improve resource allocation and achieve higher profitability.